I've been drawing every day for the past almost 14 years now, and as I've just gotten into my 20s in the last few years, I really don't see any sign of my drawing or painting streak stopping. I've been able to make myself a full-time artist because of these consistent efforts, and one of the most common questions I receive is how do I have the motivation to keep doing this every single day? The even harder question I get is when people ask me advice on how they can also have the same motivation or drive as me, because it really isn't easy to stay creative on a day-to-day basis, and what people see and believe may not be exactly what's going on behind the scenes. So in this video, I will do my best to break down what I've learned from my own process and experiences, and hopefully by the end I will have a solution of sorts, and maybe you could take something away from all of this. First, let's start with the problems. There are many ways no motivation or drive can happen. It can be from being so busy with external things outside your interests, such as school, a 9 to 5, maybe you're busy with your friends and family all the time, where it never feels like there's enough seconds, minutes, or hours in the day to ever work on your own crafts or passions. Then by the time you get there, you're drained. There is no energy left to make any progress, it seems. The other common example or scenario I hear is when you have the energy to create something. Sometimes the idea can be kind of abstract in your head, but your mind is just so ready to do whatever it is you have to draw, paint, type, or play. But when you finally get to the point of action, your brain just kind of stops. You don't know what to draw or what to play or whatever it is, and sometimes that is called blank canvas syndrome or artist block. It doesn't necessarily feel like a lack of motivation, but there's also an absence of ideas or things in one's mind to take action on. Both of these examples are the main two factors I hear from other artists and like-minded individuals. The main reason why it's especially hard to overcome these roadblocks has to do with literally the lack of motivation, drive, or wrong mindset. Then the question becomes, how does one attain the energy, motivation, or mental knowledge or strength to overcome this stuff? Many think it has to do with stimulation of the mind, which can sometimes be the solution. Rituals and routines become the new way to gain motivation. Some of these I will provide as a possible solution later on. However, when it comes to creative work, these things will only take you so far. Unlike a normal job, which generally consists of the same things day to day, creative work can greatly vary, especially on a mental level. For me, each project I take on tackles a different concept. Client work may have me come up with a new visual concept I've never touched on before, and translating a song into an animation or a painting, or sometimes even translating a drawing into my own song can be quite different day to day. That means that since my work is inherently the opposite of a routine-like job, the stimulation and general motivation of my mind greatly affects the efficiency and effectiveness of my work. That means that some of the habits and things that I do throughout the day need to be things that take my mind into new places. Because when your mind is stuck on the same thought patterns day in and day out, how will you ever be able to look outside your own mental mindscape that you've made for yourself? That is what one needs, in my opinion, to be able to create freely. Now that we've laid out the experience and identified the problems, we must now figure out the solutions to all of this. First, if you're having issues when it comes to things such as just sitting down to draw every day, or practicing the guitar, or going to the gym on a schedule, try this out. You have the time, but maybe you have no energy, mental strength, or motivation to even attempt to try to do it, right? Why not just show up then? You don't even have to do anything. Just set yourself up to actually do the thing that you want to do. Let's say you want to draw, but you don't want to draw. Take out your sketchbook, get some drawing supplies, but don't even think about drawing. If you have to go to the gym, but your mind is telling you the opposite, go to the gym, but don't work out. Just go there to show up, like literally just show up. That's all you have to do. I think one will find themselves in a place where everything you ideally want for yourself is right in front of you, and it would feel almost stupid if you didn't just give it a go. Even if it's for 5 minutes, 30 minutes, 5 seconds, why not just try? You'll find yourself doing a lot more than you initially ever expected to do. Then you'll have well-deserved serotonin that will make you proud of yourself for actually going through with it. It's also not about taking everything so seriously. For example, in high school when I was in math class, I drew infinitely better than when I was in my art class. That's because when I took my drawing seriously in art class, it closed off my ability to think freely about the direction of the piece. I all of a sudden had expectations on what the outcome was going to be, which put sort of a pressure on me to make something good instead of actually having fun and exploring what I was working on. The key is to not put one's expectations on the outcome of what you're doing. Instead, focus on putting those expectations into your own efforts. Everything lies within your efforts and abilities, and if you focus on that, then the outcome will reflect it. However, focusing on the outcome means that you're not putting enough attention on the actual process of making the thing that you're setting out to make. Your passions aren't necessarily supposed to feel like a job, but it also is not meant to be a completely positive experience. You should always challenge yourself and push the limits in order to grow. Even when you feel tired or drained, or like you don't have the energy to spend at least a little time at the piano or drawing board, just do it. Most things are more mental than one would think, and by actually doing the task, It will be more rewarding when you do actually rest. Mental discipline is also a bitch to harness in this particular practice because in a sense you have to have a childlike mindset because you find yourself trying to stay curious and full of wonder in order to see things in a new way. Your mind can trick you into thinking that it needs rest when in reality it still has gas in the tank and new limits to reach that you didn't even know you were capable of. Don't believe me? Talk to anyone that's joined the military. Besides the point, pushing yourself harder will always lead to new things, and the creations that come out of it could be good or bad, but at least now you have something to work from. It's a new standard that you've set that you can now improve upon as time goes on. However, maybe you're just stuck in the middle of a painting, writing, drawing, or an idea and just don't have the motivation or the inspiration to take it to the next step. Sometimes it's good to let an idea go if you're just stumped on it. Let it completely dissipate from your conscious mind. If the idea was worthy enough, it'll come back with enough time. Usually, your mind state will have changed enough to see the idea with more clarity, and then one can start to shape it into reality. There's times when I have a great idea for a painting, but there's something about it that I can't quite figure out, and it prevents me from bringing the idea to the canvas. When I'm completely stumped, I give up, and I just let it leave my mind. Sometimes the idea never comes back, and it's just gone forever. But many times, I've had days, weeks, months, even years pass where all of a sudden the idea returns. But this time my mindset and where I'm at in life is a lot different, and within seconds I have the solution to actually get started on it. I've had this happen to me countless times. I've even forgotten that I've thought of the idea beforehand. Then I do the entire project, and later I find a note from years ago when I was initially stumped on the idea, unable to figure it out. It's kind of cool that almost like the idea was destined to be fulfilled and brought into this world, even if it's years later. Anyways, I hope the words that I said in this video helped you in some way, shape, or form, and now you could go about your life hopefully with some new mental tools in order to tackle what you have going for you in your world. Don't forget that it's also just good to go on walks, try new food, see new movies, new experiences, hopefully healthy ones, that will help open new avenues for your mind to explore. Try getting off technology and just having some time meant for you and your mind only. These days, we truly don't get enough time away from technology and social media to even process all the information thrown at us day in and day out. An unprocessed information overload one can get from doom scrolling and reading into things that have nothing to do with one's own life leads to a detachment from reality in some senses. And sometimes what you really need is just a mini reset in order to see things with eyes unclouded. But yeah, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching. See ya.
In case I don't see ya, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. In case I don't see ya, good afternoon,